Hello, so you're interested in using the new Methodist Church training course, Worship, Leading and Preaching, as the form of some kind of continuing study, in addition to running the sessions for students. And you really should, because the material is absolutely fantastic. It's been written by some really clever people, and it contains some wonderful imagery, and the videos particularly are excellent and awe-inspiring. So it's good that you should want to use the material for wider study. The other key thing, of course, about it is that it is online and hence available at any time, and it's also completely free, and that's pretty amazing too. So if you're interested in running the session, I wanted to share with you some experiences that I've had in my own circuits that could help and provide a possible way of doing that. The first thing to do if you're interested in using the worship material as a form of study, either for your leaders of worship and preachers fellowship or for the wider circuit, the first thing to do is to discuss and share. So go to your LWP meeting and tell your brothers and sisters there, your fellow worship leaders and local preachers, that this is a form of continuing development, that it's not about assessment, that it's about an exciting journey to learn more about the Christian faith and about Methodism, and a way of moving forwards with God. And that's an interesting first thing to try and get across. I think what's also a useful thing to do is, if you're going to run these sessions, then open them up to your own circuit. So go to your circuit meeting and tell people there about this open opportunity for free learning using some really great material. And then, of course, to publicise that. Now, assuming that having done that, and that you can encounter no obstacles and you've got the logistics sorted out of a venue and place, then the best thing to do then, of course, is also to sound people out and see if they can help. Because whilst it's perfectly possible to run this course on your own, to read the material and facilitate the explore sessions, it's good to have some help. And it's also good for the people who come to have some variety of presentation style. But assuming that you're off, then the very, very first thing you should do, and probably do this even before you talk to people, is to go to the Methodist Church website and find out more about the training course. Go to Google, in any browser you like, and type in the search Methodist Church Worship, Leading and Preaching, and that will take you to, it's currently the top ranked page, the church website that contains all the information that is available and pretty much all that you need. There are sections there about information about the course, how you access the course online, including the URL and the username and passwords. That's really key. Frequently asked questions, which you'll probably need to read and be aware of before people then ask you questions, and information about submission of portfolios, and we'll cover that in another video. First thing to do is to go to that information section and download the course handbook. Now, you can get the course handbook from within inside the online portal, but it's really nice that you can go to the website and download a simple PDF and read it. It tells you pretty much everything you need to know. It explains the structure of the course and all the submission deadlines and all the practicalities, as much as they're known, about submitting a portfolio. So a really good place to start. Read the course handbook, again from the Methodist Church website in that information section. Now, you'll probably know, but the training course, Worship, Leading and Preaching, is made up of a number of modules. If you're familiar with faith and worship, you'll know there are 18 units. Well, in this training course, there are 8 modules, and each module contains 3 sections, and each section is broken down into 5 sub-sections. Worship leaders, you'll know, study the first 4 modules only, and then they submit a portfolio. Local preachers study all 8 modules and they submit 2 portfolios, one halfway through and one at the end. That's the structure. Now, we, in our delivery of this material to either the students who are running on the training course, your leaders of worship and preachers fellowship as a form of continuing development, or to your wider circuit or beyond as a form of study, we focus pretty much on the second and the third subsections of each module. So when you're planning, you're looking at the sections within the modules. Remember, there are 3 sections in each of the 8 modules. So you take a section and you timetable that. And the 2 subsections that you're most interested in are the second one, which is called Prepare, which is where you read the material about that particular subject. You watch the videos, you engage with the imagery, and you do some background reading as well. And then the third subsection, which is called Explore, which is, if you like, the real meat and where people will engage with this material. This is a session that you facilitate where people can come together and, as the name suggests, explore the topic. We talk about it. You present some material, possibly, but it's more about sharing with everyone who comes and gaining experiences and really walking that journey together. We can talk later about the skills required perhaps of the facilitator, but the material is all laid out for us. So as a suggestion, and what has happened in our own circuit, is timetable the Explore sessions to happen once a month. We've chosen a Saturday morning, and so we go to one of our local churches that has good parking facilities and tea and coffee making facilities and all those useful things, and we gather at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning every month, and we run one of the sections of one of the modules each time. So we take that section's theme. Now, before that Saturday morning, you read the prepare material. Okay, now it doesn't take very long to skim read that material and to look at the videos to get an overall sense of what is going on. The students are asked to engage with the material, obviously at a much more comprehensive level, reading everything, doing the background study, etc. But to prepare for the Explore sessions as the facilitator, you simply need to get a sense of what's there. And every single time I've read one of those sections, there's stuff that you learn. It's presented in a really interesting way, a very engaging way. It doesn't feel like hard work at all. And the audio-visual elements are particularly stunning. We've seen some wonderful, wonderful videos, which can be used in worship or in other groups. It's just a great resource. And because they're all hosted on YouTube, it's very easy to simply download those as video files, take them with you and use them elsewhere. Whether that's allowed copywriting wise, I don't know, but it's a really good resource, and you need to do it for the Explore sessions. So you read the prepared material in the month before the Explore session happens, and you make notes of everything you've learned, and you're looking to cherry pick some of the parts of that prepared material that you think would really work in the group sessions that you have. And so you download some videos and some images, and you make notes, and possibly you prepare some slides. It doesn't take very long, and the skills we're talking are here of just someone who can engage with the material. You don't have to be hugely academic to do this. It's simply a question of reading the material, and I think people at all stages of their Christian development would find this material engaging and useful. So you prepare for the Explore session. On the day of the Explore session then, there is in the subsection of every section of every module suggested outlines for how to run those Explore sessions. So if you like, you don't have to do any work at all. You can simply follow what they say. Now, the structure of those Explore sessions is laid down in 4 areas. Initially, there is material suggested what is called gathering, and that's when the group comes together, and rather than go straight into worship, we discuss the theme a little. We maybe have a practical activity that was suggested beforehand. We maybe have some open discussion, or we maybe watch something to get people together and to get people thinking about the theme. So that's the gathering part. Then there's another section suggested about worship, and there are songs and readings and other things suggested that can go on in that place. The third part is then, if you like, the meat of the session, which is when you explore together. And for that part, of course, your background reading and preparation really come into play, because you're providing or showing videos or showing some content which will be helpful to people. And of course, the main thing is not for you as the facilitator to be presenting all the time, but rather to sow the seeds and get people talking, because it is in that joint exploration, that joint exploration of the content that the real value comes out, and you get the benefits of all those other lovely people who've come. And then finally, there's a section called response, which is normally an act of worship, but also just more practical discussion about, well, what does this mean and how are we going to use it? So you can simply follow the Explore material. In my own experience, it's been better to go through the prepare material and to look at the various questions and the quotations that are given, to look at the videos, and sometimes base the explore session based on those. Again, you have to tailor this material to the group you're working with, but I think it works better in some ways if you own the material yourself rather than replay it. But if you are needing to facilitate this simply as someone who hasn't had the time to engage too much, then the suggested gathering, worship and exploration on the website is all great. I must confess that in every session I've tended to change it slightly and adapt it. Again, the aim here is to present the material in a fresh and engaging way, and to get people to then open up and talk amongst each other, because that's the real value. So it's a very straightforward kind of thing. One simply needs to timetable and schedule, and in some senses it's all about the planning. Now, you could ask the question, how often should we run those explore sessions? As I said, we're doing it every month, and clearly if you're being led by the students who are on the course, or maybe the timetable of the fellowship group or the church fellowship that you're working with, then that needs to be the driving factor. I think it's kinder in some ways if you're offering this to your circuit and the wider LWP fellowship, it's kinder to simply timetable it, because you have to accept that not everyone is going to be able to come to every session. And it isn't a training course in that sense where one session leads into another. There is obviously a theme that runs through the modules and the sections, but each one can pretty much stand alone. So it's perfectly possible to simply say that's the one I can go to, or that's the one I'm particularly interested in, and that's fine. Now, a big question that we wrestled with when we put this on in my own circuit was the assumption that everybody who attended the explore sessions would have to have read the online material in the prepare subsection. And whilst that undoubtedly helps and produces perhaps a richer, more focused exploration, the explore sessions, whilst they're on the same theme as the prepare, don't actually demand that you've read that material. You may well have watched a video in the prepare material that is then used again in the exploration material. A brief recap is perhaps enough, and certainly in the way it's worked out now that we're at the end here of the third module, so we've run 9 explore sessions. So far, I think it's come to the point where hardly anyone except the facilitator, which happens to be me, has read the prepare material. It's enough for people to come and simply share in the exploration. So that takes a burden away, and of course inevitably with the new course you'll have lots of questions about how do I access it, how do I sign in. Again, on the Methodist Church website there's an access section, makes it really, really simple, but don't underestimate how much support you'll need to give to people to enable them to get online and feel comfortable with the material. I think all I would say in summary is the online material is absolutely brilliant. It's free, it's there available anytime you like. The information that you pick up and learn are so invaluable, and for anyone anywhere to be engaged in learning more about the God who we love and about the church we serve is a great journey. It's just too valuable to miss. So in some ways, grapple with it. There's no prescribed way of doing things. Enjoy it, have fun with it, and grow together through it. It's a marvellous, marvellous way, because learning and talking together are the ways in which we grow closer to one another and closer to the God we love. Thank you.